Hey, this is Jamie at Useful Knowledge. So what are we talking about tonight? Tonight we're going to talk about the Atlas mason jar that is used by Classico brand pasta sauce. Now, if you look on this, it actually says Atlas mason jar. Okay? Alright, and you can see that right there as well, Atlas mason. Okay, so for a number of years, I didn't really know what to do with these mason jars. Alright, and so we really liked, as a family, the Classico pasta sauce, and we used it to make spaghetti with all the time. And so I probably had saved 100 jars of this just because I thought one of these days I'm going to figure out something to can in it. And then probably right after I made the blueberry syrup video a few years back, I thought, hey, blueberry syrup would be great to can in those 24-ounce jars. And that's what I've done here. You can see that I canned that last year. The reason I like to use the 24-ounce jars for canning the blueberry syrup is because I give a lot of this away for Christmas gifts, and it's just bigger than your pint-sized jar, and it just looks really nice as a Christmas gift. And also, it's the perfect size for our family here, and when we want to make pancakes and use the blueberry syrup. So okay, so why are we talking about this? So I had a friend that actually sent me an article he found, and it's talking about using this Atlas mason jar for home canning. Okay, and the article goes on to say that it's really not meant to be used for home canning, and that the Classico jars, if you compare it to a ball mason jar, that you'll notice a difference in heft, which that obviously means weight, and that the glass on a ball mason jar is indeed thicker. Okay, so is that true? We're about to find out. Also in the article, Classico warns against using it as a home canning mason jar because the lighter weight of the mason jar can make it unsafe for home canning. So we're going to find out if this is really true. Okay, so how are we going to compare the Atlas mason jar used by Classico against a standard mason jar like a ball? Well, we are going to weigh them up and we'll see how they compare. Now, we don't have a 24-ounce ball mason jar, but we do have the pint-sized jars and the quart-sized jars. So here we go. Okay, for our first three jars, these are pint-sized mason jars, and they're Ball brand pint-sized mason jars. Okay, that one, as you can see there, is 8.5 ounces. That one is 8.6. And that one is 8.7, so that's easy. That averages out to 8.6. So we got three of those that we use there. Alright, now we're going to measure out the weight of a quart. Alright, that one's 13.3. 13.4, 13.2. So there we go. We're 13.3 on average on that one. That made that easy. Okay, since I have never honestly seen a 24-ounce ball mason jar. Now they may make them. They may have made them in the past. I've just personally never used one. I've personally never seen one. So we took the weight, the average weight of the quart jar minus the average weight of the pint, okay? And that came up to 4.7. We divided that in half because we're trying to figure out what we need to be for the 24-ounce jar, which is your Atlas, okay? So that calculated out, okay, to these jars need to weigh 10.95 ounces. Okay, if you want to average right in the middle between a quart jar and a pint jar, which is what these 24-ounce jars are. So let's check them out. Okay, that one's 12.1. So obviously that's well over an ounce more than what we were looking for. That one's 12.2. And that one is 12.1. So quality control seems to be really good on these. So What does that tell me? That tells me that the article was incorrect on the weight, on the heft of these jars. The article is incorrect that yes, they're not lighter weight than a ball. If you had a 24-ounce ball mason jar, the glass content of what you would expect in a ball mason jar would have been 10.95 ounces. These Atlas mason jars are heavier than that. So that is good news there. Okay, the question I'll probably get asked is, did that article change my mind on using these jars for home canning? And the answer is absolutely not. And here's why. Obviously, to survive a commercial cannery, you got to be pretty tough as a jar, okay? And then you're going to get shipped out, and you're going to be put on a grocery store shelf by a stocker, and customers are going to bump you around. So there's a lot of things there that tells me that these jars are tough, okay? And also, if you've seen any of my canning videos, you know that my canning is not necessarily for the faint of heart. I'm going to put my jars in the oven at 250 degrees for at least 15 minutes, sometimes more. I'm going to pull them out of the oven into a 70-degree kitchen, and then I'm going to fill them up with the hot product. In this case, blueberry syrup. And then I'm going to put a lid on them, and I'm going to turn them upside down for 5 minutes. It's the open kettle method. You can look at the old canning books and see the open kettle method, but that's what I use. And to survive through that, the jar's got to be pretty tough. I have never had one of these break on me. So, am I going to continue to use them? Yes, I am. Would I pressure can in them? I'll have to think about that question. I probably would, but it's just not the size that I use for pressure canning. So, if you have pressure canned in them, go ahead and let me know in the comments, because I know a lot of you folks out there have used these mason jars. So, I'm not giving an endorsement to tell people to go use them. I'm just letting you know how I use them. I'm going to continue to use them. So, we hope you gained some useful knowledge on the Atlas mason jar that is used by the Classico brand pasta sauce. Thanks for watching.